Hello and welcome back to another one of my FBR videos, where in this video we're going to be talking about transfer plans ahead of Game Week 6. Now if you was like me in Game Week 5 and had an absolute stinker of a week, don't panic, don't react fast, don't make -4, -8 hits like I'm sure many people already have. You've got to stay calm because let's face it, the chance of you getting a 100-point week every week is practically impossible. It's never been done. You're going to get these game weeks. You've just got to remember, you've not got these players just for one game week. You're getting these players for 4 to 5 game weeks. So your team should be set up pretty okay for the next few weeks if you're doing it right. Now, this week is European Football Week. It's back. So don't make any transfers yet as well, because you never know what could happen in the week. Any of these players that you've got in your team, your Arsenal, United, not your Chelsea though, because they're not European football, but your Man City players, any of those players get injured in the week, so you've got to hold off until after these Champions League European football games have finished, because the last thing you want to do is make a -8 hit and then have two players that you haven't touched get injured this week. That would absolutely just kill you off, and you probably quit FPL for that. So anyways, let's get into these transfers that I'm looking at for Game Week 6 onwards. So then, first up on here, we've got Ben Chilwell out for Kieran Trippier, and I reckon a lot of people are going to be doing that this week. Maybe not for Trippier, but for certain they're going to be looking at taking Chilwell out, because, I mean, I wasn't expecting either, but nobody, I don't think, was expecting really that Ben Chilwell was going to be on that bench against Bournemouth. Now, Pochettino did say before he had a slight knock. Whether or not that was true, we'll see in the next few weeks clearly. But he also mentioned comments about Modric, about playing him in that position. Whether that was just solely for the Bournemouth game, we won't be able to find out until Game Week 6. But it's definitely got our backs against the wall here. Nobody wants to play it where you can't be certain whether he starts, so it is a bit of a worry. And to be honest, let's face it, Ben Chilwell was disappointing. He was really disappointing beforehand. I mean, he did well against Luton. If only he got that goal, it would have made it a bit better for him, but he didn't. But apart from that, he's been really stale, really. Chelsea overall have been stale, to be honest, apart from that Luton game. So he has been disappointing. Whereas look at Kieran Trippier. You look at the run that Newcastle have just been on. Trippier's actually got 2 less points than Ben Chilwell this season. That says a lot, really. And obviously, Trippier's fixtures coming up. I mean, I know he's got 80 million tonight, so that's a slight worry if he gets injured or not. So I'll be keeping an eye on that, definitely. But then after, he's got Sheffield United away, Burnley at home, West Ham away, which is a little tough to be fair, and then Palace at home. And then it does go on quite nice for Newcastle after that. So they've got a long set of nice fixtures coming up. And obviously, we saw Kieran Trippier last season. He's done pretty well this season, for sure. He's one of the top players on my list that I want to bring in for Game Week 6 onwards. Particularly with those two fixtures coming up as well. They look so nice. Yes, Chelsea have got Fulham and Burnley coming up in 7-8. But like I said, can't be sure Chilwell starts. I know Trippier will start if he's fit in 6 and 7. And that's what I want. Look, whether I'll take Chilwell out or not is debatable right now. But for certain, I want Kieran Trippier in my team. So next up on here, we've got another Chelsea player to be sold. This time for a Man City player in Alvarez. Now, if you saw at the start of the video, you would have noticed I don't actually own Nicholas Jackson myself. So this is obviously to the wide audience who do own him. Thankfully, I don't, because he is turning out, like I said last week, like a Nunes type of player. He's getting the chances, but he's not scoring. And there's only so far you can keep going with that, because eventually other players around are just going to go up and up in the table because they've got people like Alvarez in their team. Now, I don't own Alvarez either, and I do want him in my team. I know why I haven't got him in my team so far, because it's Man City, it's Pep Guardiola, and I'm always hesitant when it comes to Man City players other than Haaland, because you just don't know if they're going to start. But the reality is, so far this season, the first 5 games of the season, Alvarez has started and played 90 minutes in all of those games, which is really interesting. Now, yes, they have got European football as well this week, so I've got to watch that game as well. Again, like Newcastle, it is tonight as well. So I'll be watching that. It's going to be interesting to see if he stays fit, and if he is fit for that one, again, like Trippier, he's going to be one of the players at the top of the list who I want to bring in my team, because if he's starting, he's a 6.8 million at the minute. I mean, for sure, I reckon by the end of the week, Both of these players are going to be 6.9 million players. Because everyone's going to want to sell Jackson. And for sure, I can see why you want Alvarez. I mean, again, he performed well. He got 9 points against West Ham. Got 2 assists and a bonus point. So if you got him in last week, you would have been absolutely buzzing. Whereas obviously I don't. And I'm absolutely miserable with the fact that I still haven't got him in my team. And look at the fixtures he's got coming up. He's got Forest at home and Wolves away. Nice, nice fixtures right there. I mean, Forest are tough, but it's going to be at the Etihad, which is a bonus. And Wolves, bit of a shambles. I know 8 and 9 are tough, but myself, I'll probably wildcard around that time personally anyway. But even then, it's Man City. So is any team a difficult team to play against for Man City? I don't think so, if I'm being honest. Even if it is Arsenal. I mean, I'll probably say Brighton are a tougher team than Arsenal in terms of the way Brighton are playing right now. But for sure, I definitely want to bring Alvarez to my team, and I think you guys should too. I mean, I know Jackson's got a nice fixtures in 7 and 8, but there's only so far he can keep going. I mean, let's not forget as well, the guy loves the yellow card, and I'm pretty sure he's 1 yellow card away from a game suspension anyway. So if he does get a yellow card against Aston Villa, he's not going to be available for Fulham away. So there's no point in keeping him, to be honest. He's disappointing so far. You may as well just take your losses now and go for somebody who's in hot form in Alvarez. And next up, again, I've got another player that I don't personally own in taking out Rodri for Danjuma. I've put Rodri on here instead of one of my players because otherwise it's just going to be repetitive. And I wanted to find a player who's actually quite highly owned who shouldn't really be, if I'm being honest. And Rodri, he's 12.3% owned currently right now. And I know he's had a good start to the season. He's got 2 goals and assists already. But if I'm being honest, by game week 38, I don't think he's going to get any more than 5 goals this season. So you're already pretty much there in terms of his goal return as it is. So is it worth it to keep him for that many goals for the rest of the season? I don't think so. I mean, the guy's a CDM. He's there to stop the ball from going past his defenders into the goal. He's not there to score goals. Yes, I know he's got Forest and Wolves next 2 games, but again, it's not really worth it. And you're wasting a Man City slot there. I mean, maybe you can't afford another Man City player because of the price, but this is where I bring in Danjuma. Now, Danjuma is actually somebody who I'm thinking about bringing into my team as well. Now, I know Everton are awful. They are absolutely shocking, and they're showing no reasons as to why I should bring in Danjuma right now. The guy's barely owned. He's not scored any goal. Yeah, he's been terrible. Everton have been awful, whereas obviously Man City have been amazing. But look at the fixtures they've got coming up. This is, if I was obviously wildcarding soon, look at the fixtures that Everton have got. Brentford away. I mean, Brentford away is a tough fixture. But in my head, I'm thinking Everton need a performance now. They need one immediately, really, before game week 7. Maybe Danjuma, who is an attacking winger for Everton, could get something here. He's 5.5 million, and he has been playing 90 minutes for Everton this season. So that's also a positive. And then game week 7, you've got Luton at home, and game week 8, another home fixture to Bournemouth. Those 2 fixtures are massive. So if you don't want to do it in game week 6 and you want to wait at 7, fine. But I definitely believe bringing in an Everton attacking player, probably Danjuma is the only one I'd really look at. Decore does get the odd goal, but he's not really an attacking player like Danjuma is. I know they got better up front, Everton, but he went off really early. Calvert-Lewin's never really that fit. This guy plays 90 minutes. I reckon he could be like the Iwobi maybe of last season, where he went on a little bit of a run for a few game weeks. If he get, particularly game week 7, if he gets returns in 7 and 8, I'd be buzzing if I had him. And if he gets him in 6, 7 and 8, mate, it'd be a masterclass. These are the transfers that really make or break your season in terms of your game week rank, or it can jump you anyway, put it that way. So, for sure, Danjuma, I mean, he's not at the top of my list, but I've got my eye on him because, let's face it, there's so many players that a lot of other people own, and it's always nice to have that differential. Yeah, Brentford away is tough, but 7 and 8 are really nice for Everton. It's just worth going for a punt. And my final recommendation on here is Eze of Crystal Palace. Now, midfield is by far the hardest position to have plays in right now because there's so many different options right now. So I figured I'll just do another one. I'll just throw another spanner in the works right now. And I couldn't even think of a player to take out, particularly in my team, if anything. I mean, yes, I could probably take if you got an Arsenal player, I'd probably, particularly for this game week, maybe want to take out an Arsenal midfielder for this guy right now. But Arsenal are really good, so that's also an issue. But look at the fixtures that Eze's got coming up. It looks harder than it actually is, in my opinion. So Fulham at home is a nice fixture for Eze. Man United away is classed as a difficult fixture, and obviously you don't know what Man United team's going to turn up, but Man United are leaking in goals left, right, and centre. And you've got to remember, when you get a midfielder or a striker in your team, you don't care if that team wins or loses. It doesn't matter if they concede 4 or 5 goals, as long as your player gets 3 goals. If your team loses 5-3 but Eze gets an hat-trick, who cares? Who cares if United win 5-3? Eze's got you an hat-trick, you'd be buzzing. So Man United are leaking goals left, right and centre, and then they've got another home fixture to Forest. So the next 3 fixtures alone for Crystal Palace are actually really nice, to be fair. And this guy is going under the radar slightly. Not many people are mentioning him now. They had him at the start of the season. He's blanked quite a lot this season. He hasn't exactly set the world alight so far. But I reckon things turn around game week 6 onwards. I reckon the next 3 game weeks could be pretty decent for Eze. He's not up on my list of players to bring in. Obviously, I've mentioned I'd actually like to go for Danjuma. Maybe, I mean, saying that out loud is crazy. Maybe I'll go for Eze instead. But those two are probably on par. Obviously, likes of Trippier and Alvarez in my head are above, just because the midfielders I've got right now I do like. But if you want to go for somebody who's been a bit under the radar right now, definitely take a look at going for Eze as another punt. So that's it then for this video. Those are my transfer plans ahead of Game Week 6. Hopefully, these guys turn out better than they did last week's. Last week's was terrible. I think I recommended Isak, didn't start. Morris went off early. Gordon was the only one that works out well. Flecken didn't turn out well at all. Oh, it was absolutely shocking. But do look out for my next video tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a team selection video tomorrow. Let me know what you think of this video though. Let me know those transfers you're thinking. Let me know if there's anybody I'm missing out that you think I should be looking at going for. Please don't forget to like this video and click that subscribe button. And I'll see you all on the next one.